Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Hanna, and I will start this focus session to do an introduction of Visma. Visma is, we create software for small businesses, medium and large enterprises, and the public sector. Our software simplifies and automates complex processes for our clients. And Visma are a collection of entrepreneurial companies. So this means that we are 170 companies in the Visma group. Everyone has their own personality, leadership, and organization. And this is something that we think is the key to our success, that we let the companies that we buy to be what they used to be, so they don't get Visma-fied. They stay the way they used to be before. And one of our Visma company, Visma SPCS, is ranked as Sweden's largest SaaS company for the second year in a row. Here is some numbers. Visma in numbers. So we are 14,000 employees around the world, and 5,000 of them are developers. And in Sweden, we are 2,500 employees. Our revenue for 2022 was over 2 billion euro. And equality is something that we work with a lot in Visma. So we are actually 41% women in our company. And in Sweden, that number is even higher, it's 51%. This is something that we are proud of, since in the industry, the average is 27% women. Visma is located around Europe, 250 locations around Europe and Latin America. Since 2014, more than 200 companies have joined Visma, some integrating with existing brands, but most of them are continue as their own individuals. In 2022, Visma acquired 43 companies. For example, Bokio and Flex Application are Swedish brands that you may know of. We also entered new markets such as Germany and France. Here is some of our brands that are in the Visma group. Maybe you will know someone of them, but there's we do a number of products in a number of areas, such as ERP and HRM systems, accounting, bookkeeping, salary software, to specific solution within sustainability reporting, employee development, electronic invoicing, and e-commerce. So there's something for everyone. Here is our CEO, Mrigate. She's located in Oslo. And she's been saying that winning in this business is more about having the right people than anything else. So this is something that's really important for Visma, that the right people is coming to us, and also that we collaborate in between our companies and disciplines. So wherever you are, you can reach out to a colleague somewhere else. And we also work a lot with the culture and for the employees. And that's something that you really feel when you work at Visma. So we work with try to get happy, motivated employees. So this will make us more better to our clients. And now I will leave the floor to one of these employees, Louise Lindberg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, so good to see you. Oh, it's really loud. Really good to see so many women, people here. My name is Louise Lindberg, and I work as a CTO of Kontek. It's one of Visma's payroll solutions and payroll companies. Today I will talk about how to future-proof your product development. But first, I would like to talk about how I have developed to where I am today. It has been 6 years of personal development, and my first encounter with Visma was as a summer intern in 2016. After this, I graduated from the Royal Institute of Technology here in Stockholm and I started my first full-time job as a management trainee in Visma. This was a one-year program where I got to try out 5 different projects within different areas of the organization. I learned a lot, and I learned what I like to do and what I maybe didn't enjoy as much. And from there, I realized that I wanted to work somewhere in between business and tech. And that's how I ended up working as a project leader within automation. My job here was to analyze Visma's different processes and to suggest what should be automated. And then I also led the implementation of the automation processes. From there, I took a natural step, taking the leadership role over the small team of developers we had. They were 3 people. And after that, I took quite a giant leap. I became the product development director for 8 development teams and 75 people living in, I think, 8 or 9 different countries in Europe. So it was a lot learning on the job for me. I was hit by new employee challenges every day, which I had no idea how to manage. But I had great support around me, so it didn't turn out into a disaster. And from there, I got asked whether I wanted to take the role as the CTO of Kontek. Kontek is a payroll solution and part of the Visma family. In parallel with this, I'm also part of 2 boards for other Visma companies. And this is a strategy from Visma, where they want leaders to exchange knowledge and experience, and also for us to see other companies in the tech industry and how they tackle challenges. If I'm looking back at this, I can definitely say that I have actually done some things in order to affect my personal development. And I would like to share some of those things, because you can actually affect your own development. First of all, maybe some of you are students, and then I would suggest you to start as a trainee. Then probably when you leave university, you don't really know what you want to do. Then this is a perfect opportunity to try out different things. Also, you get kind of like a quality stamp from the company, because they invest a lot in you, and it will lead to amazing opportunities. I also want to encourage you to speak up. Make it clear and let people know what you enjoy doing. Also, try to tell people when you need some new challenges, or maybe you want to change a job. And similar to this, I would also like to highlight the importance of self-branding or personal branding. And you can actually affect how you want people to see you. For example, just by saying yes to different things, or suggesting to help out in a specific project within your area of interest. I would also like to say that it's smart to work in a growing company. And this has made my journey easy. When I started in Visma, we were 6,000 employees, and now we're 15,000. So that will open up for new opportunities. People will move around, and for younger talents, it will be a possibility to take the next step. And last but not least, trusting that they believe in you. If you're offered an opportunity, I know it's difficult to say yes to that, because it usually means a lot of unexpected challenges. But I've learned to think, like, if someone suggests me to take a role, they obviously believe that I'm ready. So then I have to say yes. Now you know a bit how to maybe affect your own personal development. As a CTO, my job is to affect the product development or the product strategy and decide what we should develop going forward. So when I started my job, I asked, how do we develop future-proof products? how do we know what the customer wants? What is a successful product? If we take one step back and think of what makes a good and successful tech company, I would like to give one example. Maybe some of you recognize these people. It's from the 19th fight between two chip producers. On the left-hand side, we have Lisa Su, the AMD CEO of AMD. And on the right-hand side, you have the former CEO of Intel, Brian McSannick. These two, they led their companies in quite distinctive ways. Brian, he looked at the P&L results. He led based upon financial results. On the other hand, Lisa Su, she went to the production. She spoke to her employees, she got to know them, and she tried to understand what were their problems. Which one do you think was more successful? Yeah. If we look at the stock market of these two companies, now it's maybe a bit shady graph, but this is the stock market price increase in percentage on the y-axis, and on the x-axis we have years. So Lisa started in 2014 when this graph begins, and then you have, until now. The upper graph shows AMD and Lisa's stock market price, and the below one is Intel. And you can see they had quite different outcomes. So what does Lisa do differently? Well, she listens to her users. Okay, but then everyone just wants to be Lisa, right? There's just one problem. According to Gartner, 95% of companies actively collect user and customer feedback, but only 10% actually manage to leverage it to improve their product. We have been collecting feedback. We have been on the right track all the time. But if you want to improve going forward, you have to do it even better by collecting data and by combining data with other data. We need to listen to our users via metrics. We should engage our customers in the development process. And we should understand our customers' user behavior inside the software. This will increase your speed of development, and it will make it easier to make decisions. This is what we call user insights-driven development. And if I can just define user insights, what we mean then is the understanding and interpretation of users and customer data. Also their behavior and feedback. And we convert that into conclusions and actions. And today I will share with you how to do this step by step in order to start listening more effectively to your customers and to make strategic decisions. If we think about listening to our users on different levels and to different extents, it could be represented as a maturity scale. This has helped us in Visma at least to become more user insights driven. The first phase is what we call, maybe it's small now, but yeah. The first phase is called internally driven. If your company is here, you don't talk to your users. You go by gut feeling and you assume or know how things are. Maybe you ask your technical support to export some data to gain some insights in how the product is used. The next phase is called feedback-driven. Here, your company maybe send out a survey to your customers once every quarter, and your product manager talks to the user and then goes back to the rest of the team and tells his findings. Here, maybe you have some basic analytics in place, but you don't know how to use that data correctly. Next phase, metric-driven. If you're here, your whole team talks to the user. You have some definitions in place, such as product net promoter score, maybe. Also, you collect data on how your customers use your software. and then use KPIs such as number of sessions or number of page views. Unfortunately, by focusing on one metric, you easily reward those that affect the number and not the ones that actually will increase or improve the user experience. If you're insights-driven, everyone in the company understands the user. In the product development team, you engage them, the user, in the process, such as inviting them for design sprints or user testing. You have more specific KPIs to your product, so number of sessions becomes number of workflows in your system. An example of an insight on this level could be that the user behavior tells you that an approval flow is way too complex than it should be. And the last phase, if you're a product-led company, data and insights not simply are used to execute your product strategy, but it actually informs your product strategy. Here, everyone understands the core value of your product and to your users. You run experiments to find the best possible way to deliver that value. And here, you reach your company goals by improving your software. So to give an example, a regular company has a very long onboarding phase, and then they could hire more consultants to help out. In a product-led company, on the other hand, you may solve this problem by actually simplifying the process inside the system. If you use data to sunset features, to optimize price and packaging, then you are on this level. When I started my job as a CTO, I asked for a demo of the product. What first hit me then was the interface. It looked so old, almost like an old Windows application. And this might not be a good, good marketing for the product, but that was what I saw. And my gut feeling was that, oh my God, we need to make a facelift. And my colleagues, they didn't understand what I was saying. So I asked them, okay, but how do we know what the customer wants? And they answered, well, we do a survey once a year, and we actually know what the customer wants. Okay, a survey once a year, that might be a bit too seldom. And also, for me, driving the product development, the data outcome from that survey was nothing that I could use to base my decisions upon. To take the next step, so this leaves us maybe in the first or the second phase. I mean, we went by gut feeling, we had a survey once a year, we didn't really talk to the users. So to take the next step, what we did was to introduce product NPS, or product Net Promoter Score. Maybe you're all familiar with this way of measuring product satisfaction among your customers. It's basically to ask one simple question to your customers. How likely is it that you would recommend our product to a friend or a colleague? And then they score between 0 and 6. We implemented this inside our product, meaning that it pops up in the bottom of the software. And it's followed by a text box asking the customer to fill out some more information about why they scored their scoring. And this was for us to gain some more insights. This was very simple to implement. We just had to add like a code snippet into the code and push it out. And then we use a platform in order to customize the actual survey. We have decided to follow up all customers that are detractors, meaning scoring between 0 and 6. And we do this either via email or call. Also, all feedback is routed automatically to the right person in the company by labels. So for example, if we get a comment around pricing, that is directly sent to our sales department to call the customer up and either avoid churn or at least avoid that the customer is unhappy. Let's look at some of the comments that we got from our customers. They wrote, easy, visually good, a simple system to work with and logical, user-friendly system and easy to handle. Okay, so my gut feeling regarding that user interface, it was not our customers. They obviously liked our user interface. And simple as this, the PMPS actually helped me make strategic decisions, and it was easier for me to decide what was crucial when it came to the product. Measuring PMPS has moved us upwards on this user insights-driven maturity scale. But as stated before, it is dangerous to use only one metric. For richer insights, one could ask a more specific question. If the user, for example, has accomplished a specific task inside your software, then you could ask, how easy was it to complete this task or action? For example, if you have a web shop, and then you could ask this question after the customer has accomplished a specific shopping flow, for example. It's a great way of measuring how good a new feature is, for example. And this is what we call the customer effort score. And it's measured in the same way as the product NPS. This will probably be the next thing we will implement, but we haven't gotten there yet. The customer effort score and the PMPS are just one way of understanding our users, but there are actually two. So the one we have looked at now talks about what users say about your product. And that data could be valuable to collect during a discovery phase when your customer discovers your product, or during usability testing, satisfaction surveys, or exit surveys. An exit survey is when an important customer leaves you, you conduct that kind of survey. This part is what we call user insights, and the other part is called product insights. And this will inform you about what users actually do inside your product. And this is measured based upon data called product usage or behavioral data. And valuable insights here could be time spent on a specific feature, your most used features, adoption rate, did the customers even use that new feature that you launched? Retention, do they stay on your website or do they leave directly? And task success. And it's first when we combine user insights and product insights that we can actually make strategic decisions. Combining user insights and product insights, and you will start to see how one thing will impact another. This phase is also about the organization becoming more customer-centric. Customer-centric means that we involve the customer in the development process. So, for example, inviting them for a design sprint. We use design sprints a lot in Visma, and in our company, this is an intense, usually 2 days of workshopping with the development team together with a user design expert. And it's a way of fast-tracking a new idea, testing that with different mock-ups with the customer or user. By being product-led, you are a mature user insights-driven company. You regularly talk to users, you have all the data in place, and you have specific product KPIs or metrics. And the data is also available for everyone in the company to consume whenever they want. And here you continuously get new insights based upon that data. To get here, you obviously have to move upwards on this ladder. And to take more of a helicopter perspective, I would like to share some strategic insights that we have gained within Visma. In Visma, we have implemented product NPS for over 200 products. We're also measuring something called employee NPS, or employee net promoter score, which is an employee engagement survey that we send out once every month to all of our employees. So that's also collected within over 200 organizations, and as we heard from Hanna, from over 14,000 employees. So that's made internally, and the product NPS is external information. If we combine that with financial data, then we can gain some really nice insights. First of all, what we saw was that high product NPS leads to revenue growth. If you look into the graph, you see on the very left, the red bar. There we have all the products that didn't collect Net Promoter Score data at all. They had only a 6% revenue growth. And the higher the NPS score was, the higher was the growth. So in other words, what we can say is that, start measuring product NPS or some other similar customer satisfaction metric, because this will make your team and development team more customer-centric. They will not only listen to the gut feeling, but they will actually have data to make decisions upon. And then you will have better earnings in the end. One question that we asked our employees in this engagement survey was, in the past 12 months, how many hackathons or similar events focused on innovation have you participated in? And you can see from left to right, we have that they have participated in none of these hackathons. And on the right-hand side, you have 5 or more. And the height of the bar is the number of teams answering. What we could see here, if we combine this data with product NPS, was that the more innovation the team could do, the higher was the product NPS score. And just by participating in two hackathons, you could actually see quite a higher increase in the customer satisfaction. So, in other words, products with innovative teams, they score higher on PNPS. Or teams that are allowed creativity, they will have happier customers. If we instead combine that same data, hackathon numbers with financial data, we get another graph. This might not be as clear results, but we can still see that, for example, if you just participate in 2 hackathons, you have a quite high increase in the financial growth. So also here, I would say that the more the employees are allowed creativity, the higher will your financial growth be. A similar question we also asked our employees was, in the past 3 months, how many of your ideas or suggestions ended up in the product or changed the way the team works? And this was the result. Also here, quite a big spread. And if we combine this with financial data, not again maybe super clear, but at least we can see that if you could contribute with 3 ideas, you had the highest financial growth. You also have quite a high number in the 5th bar if you've contributed 5 times or more. To conclude on this one, products with teams that innovate with impact are growing faster. going back to Brian at Intel and Lisa at AMD. Brian, leading based upon what makes sense from a balance sheet point of view, he would probably not have allowed his employees taking a break to do some experiments, because that would affect the efficiency to decrease. Lisa, on the other hand, she would have listened to her employees, heard their needs, and allowed them to be innovative and creative, which would in the end have a positive impact on the financial growth. To conclude, based upon data from over 200 products and organizations, employees that are allowed experimentation and a possibility to impact are more satisfied and engaged. If we also measure some sort of customer satisfaction, you will have an engaged team and a customer-centric development team, meaning they will not listen to the gut feeling, but rather listen to the data. This will lead to a higher customer product satisfaction, and you have created a successful product with a high financial growth. With this in mind, we at Visma are now making sure that every team and new organization that comes in quickly onboard to this Net Promoter Score metric and also to the employee engagement measurement system, as well as, of course, taking time for experimentation and innovation. To summarize, today I have talked about how to take a stepwise maturity model that will bring you towards a more user insights-driven development. To get there, you need to listen to your users via metrics. You need to engage your users in the software development process. And you should understand your user or customer behavior inside the product. Then you will have a future-proof product. Thank you. That was all. Any questions from the audience? Yep.
Thank you for the presentation.
Kanske.
First of all, thank you for the presentation, very useful. Question, what is your opinion about focus groups or like user research when you're interviewing, let's say, 6-10 people? Is it a good way or is it enough data to make a decision? Or that's common kind of practice, right?
Yeah.
Are you making any decisions based on like focus groups?
I think it's a similar thing that I talked about regarding these design sprints. When we do them, we usually collect like five customers or 5 different users, and you try to find different people. Maybe they have different roles from different types of organizations. That's how we work. So I would definitely say that focus groups are a bit similar to that. You know, you intensively work with a small group of people. So yes, I would definitely say that's valuable. And also, I mean, looking at our design sprints, we don't have like metrical data from those. So it is of course discussion, and we do a lot of like mock-ups and try to illustrate a lot where everyone can participate, both developers and designers and everyone. So yeah, I think that's a great way of at least doing this proof of concept part. And then when you try out that with customers, I mean, then you can probably use that same focus group or someone else. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's, I don't trust 6 or 10 people's opinion to make a change.
Yeah.
But it's a good point that if you want to future-proof a new idea,
Mm.
then yes, 6 or 10 people is enough amount of idea to make a kind of, okay, let's give it a try. But I think it's hard when you have already developed a product and you want to make a change. Yes, 6 or 10 people opinions are very valuable, but does it represent 1 million users?
Yeah.
Probably not. So that's what I'm doubting
Mhm.
just about having a mock-up.
Mm.
Or if it's already a developed product in production and you need to make a change, it will affect 500,000 users.
Then I think you need to more listen to the data and see how people behave in the product. And I mean, now we're all living in an agile world, so you should be able to try one feature out. And if you see that no one uses it as you expected, then withdraw that. Yeah. Someone else? Yes? I think you can speak out loud as well. And yeah.
I'm interested to understand when you conduct those interviews, how do you manage the expectation from your, for example, your customers? Maybe they feel that, oh, I have told you something, but this doesn't come out at the end. How do you manage that?
That's a really good question. Because you usually get that like, oh, but I've suggested this, and why didn't it end up in the product, right? Yeah, so I believe you just have to be clear on the expectations on beforehand, that you want their input, but it will not be a definite result in anyhow. Maybe it's the matter of how we question them. We usually question them in the beginning, like, okay, what's the problem? And we collect some information around that. And then we do some mock-ups, and then we end up with at least a proof of concept or something that we again then can check with the users what they think about it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure that they probably come with ideas, but I think it's more about them coming with problems and not suggesting how things should be. That's our job, and their job, so to say, is more to inform us what doesn't work. You know, yeah. Good questions. Yes, I think.
So you touched upon the consumer-facing products, but within your internal IT, do you work with product development in the same way? Like the team that's responsible for your network internally or your enterprise identity, is the way they are doing the product development about the same, or do you do that in a different way?
Oh, that's a really good question. In our small company, like the Kontek, we're 170 employees. So there we have like 2 people on the IT department. So they don't have time to do those kind of work. On the other hand, if I look at Visma, it's a bigger organization, and there, maybe not as to the same extent, but at least we try to have the same working processes in the whole organization. So this kind of way of working is, we try to promote it, internally, so that everyone knows that this should be the way we do things. But yeah, probably not to the same extent. No. I think it's difficult. You usually don't put that much effort into those parts, unfortunately. Maybe you should. I mean, especially collecting data, they could easily do that as well and base their decisions upon data. Yeah. You also had a question, right? No? Yeah.
You spoke earlier about customers coming with problems.
Mm-hmm.
How do you decide what problems that are worth working on?
Usually we try to identify, okay, is this a one customer problem, or do several customers have it? Sometimes it's quite easy to decide that. Usually this type of questions are using this kind of feature, so then it's probably for everyone within that group. But it's not always as clear. Sometimes different organizations have different ways of working, and then this thing might only affect one customer. So we usually try, if we just hear one thing once, then we don't usually take that into account. But we always note it down, so when we hear more customers coming with the same ideas, then we try to lift that into the roadmap. It could also be, I've seen another company in Visma, at their community page, they usually put out some ideas, and if customers likes that specific idea, then that will become something in the roadmap. So that's the way of collecting data again, and to base your decisions upon how many customers that need that feature, so to say. So that could be one suggestion. Yeah. I don't know how much time we have left. Because I see, yeah, maybe a bit more. 3 minuter. Okay. Any more questions? Yes, in the back. Hi. Yeah, that's a really good point. Usually, we also have that saying, like, if you ask the customer, they will not tell you what they actually want. So, of course, you need to internally in the development team be like on top when it comes to technologies and different trends around and so on. Like I also said regarding the user interface. I mean, we have a really old user interface. Maybe it's not really compatible with the future, and that's not what our customer wants. But I think eventually we will have those customers. So again, therefore, I mean, measuring and looking at how people are using your product, this customer behavior, maybe that could help you a bit in the way of seeing how you should develop your product further. Yeah, I would say like looking at other products in the industry. Of course, your team needs to be the experts in your field, and it will not be the customers. So yeah, talk to the customers, but they will not give you all the answers, right? I'm not sure I gave you fully answer to your question, but yeah. Yeah, it is a dilemma. Yeah, it is a dilemma. Indeed. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and listening.